This beautiful cowl is made with 300 yards of sport weight organic cotton yarn. You could do it in one color, but this particular piece was done with 8 colors of yarn with my Be So Serene yarn sampler kit, which comes with 8 of my hand-dyed colorways. You're going to need 300 yards of sport weight yarn and a size H8 or 5mm crochet hook. You can download the free pattern on my website. Let's get started. Just in case you're looking to modify this pattern to make a skinnier scarf or a wider shawl, you want to be aware that it is a multiple of 8 plus 3. And what that means is that the repeat is 3 single crochets and 5 chains. So 3 plus 5 is 8. So we're repeating that 8 stitch repeat until we get to the end of the row where we'll do an extra 3. So the multiple is 8 plus 3, a multiple of 8s, plus 3, and then plus 1 more for our turning chain. So to do this size scarf, cowl, mobius, whatever you're wanting to call it, it's 8 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 32, plus 3, 35, plus 1 turning chain, 36. I'm going to do a smaller version of this for the demo, but if you're doing the pattern that you can download on my website, it's going to be to start with a chain 36. We're going to start with tying our yarn to our crochet hook. You can do this in any way that you prefer. I prefer a square knot, but if you prefer a slip knot, go for it. Whichever way you do, there is no wrong way to tie your yarn to a crochet hook. We're going to start with chaining, and I'm going to chain in a multiple of 8. I'm going to do a second multiple of 8. Then we'll do our plus 3 and our turning chain. So I have here 16, I have 20 chains. Remember, you're going to want to change that number depending on how wide you want your scarf to be. Row 1 begins with a single crochet in the second chain from your hook. You do not count the loop on your hook when you're counting a chain. So the second chain from the hook is, this is the first one, and that is the second one. So we're going to single crochet into the second chain from our hook and 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 chains. So insert your hook in the next chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook. That's another single crochet, and we'll do 1 more. Okay, so we now have 3 single crochets. We're going to chain 5. Skip the next 5 chains, so we're skipping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and single crochet in the next chain, and in each of the next 2 chains. So we have our chain 5 and 3 single crochets. We're going to chain 5 again. And this is now the repeat. You're going to repeat this as many times as you need to across the row. Chain 5, skip 5 chains, and 1 single crochet into each of the next 3 chains. And that's what the end of row 1 should look like. Row 2 begins with a chain 1 and turn our work. We're now going to work our single crochets through the back loop only. So you want to look at the top of the stitches from the row below, and this is the front loop and that is the back loop. So instead of working through both loops like we normally do, we're going to work through the back loop only, and the best way to see that, to work into it, is to tilt your work towards you a little bit so that you can see the top of the stitches. Then it makes it a little bit easier to recognize the back loop from the front loop. So we're going to insert our crochet hook into the back loop only, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and do that in each of the next 2 stitches. Single crochet through the back loop only, single crochet through the back loop only. Then we're going to chain 5, skip the next 5 chains, And in each of the next 3 single crochets, we're going to work single crochet through the back loop only. So again, we're going to tilt our work towards us so that we can see both loops of the top of the stitch, so we can choose to work through the back loop only. Chain 5. Skip the next 5 chains, and this is now our repeat for the rest of the row, and then work 1 single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Now when you come to the end of the row, if your end of your 2-row repeat of each color, when it's time to change color, you want to complete the last step of the stitch with the new color. So I'm going to show you what I mean. I've started my single crochet. In fact, let's start it over. We're going to insert our crochet hook into the back loop of that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. The last step of this stitch would be to yarn over, pull through 2 loops. We're going to complete the last step of the stitch with the new color so that we're positioning ourselves to work with the next color. And that'll make more sense when we do it on the next set of 2 rows. So we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and now repeat row 2, which was single crochet through the back loop only in each of the next 3 stitches. Chain 5. Skip the next chain 5 space, 1 single crochet through the back loop only in each of the next 3 stitches. And that's what we repeat across this entire row. Okay, we're going to chain 1, turn our work, single crochet through the back loop only in each of the next 3 stitches, chain 5, skip the chain 5 space, work 1 single crochet through the back loop only in each of the next 3 stitches, and repeat this across the row. On our last stitch, we will complete the last step of the last stitch with the next color. So we're alternating between these 2 colors still. So we're going to now pick up the first color and finish that last step of our last stitch with the new color. And now begin our next row the same as all the rest. Chain 1, single crochet through the back loop only. So you want to repeat this for the number of times you want for each of your stripes. Now in order to do striping like we did on this scarf or cowl, mobius, whatever you want to call it, is we're offsetting our colors so that if we have a 9-color stripe of any given color, you want to start your first color halfway through. So we're going to start our purple and only do 5 stripes of it, and then start our next or third color and do every color the full 9 stripe until the very end, and then use that second half of the first color at the end. So I want you to continue on and make your scarf as long as you want it to be. And if you're going to turn it into a Mobius loop or an infinity loop, in the next part of this video, I'm going to show you how we very easily and very simply, seamlessly join this together with the last row of the scarf and join it together with the starting chain of the scarf. Okay, we're getting ready to do our joining round, and I just want to show you that I made a point to not do a patterned stripe on this one because I wanted to show you that there absolutely is no wrong way to stripe something like this. Whether you use all 8 colors like I did, use 2 colors, 3 colors, change the size of your stripes, or even do this in a solid color. There's no wrong way to do it. It's pretty however you decide to creatively choose your colors. Now I want to show you have some options for joining. First of all, it's beautiful as a scarf on its own. You could even add a large button to one side, and because these holes are rather large, you could use any of these holes for a buttonhole to make this some sort of an adjustable cowl, where it could be a scarf at times and a cowl at other times. If you want to make it a cowl that just stands up on its own, you would want to fold it in half with laying flat like that. If you want to make it into a Mobius, you'll have to turn it before joining, and that would mean, let's say this is corner A, B, Let's get this out of my hand. Okay, let's say this is corner A, B, C, and D. You would want A and C to be at the same side like that. So if we were to join A and C and B and D like that, it looks a little goofy right now, but as you join it, then when you lay it flat again, it'll have that Mobius twist to it. So let's hold this in place, and I'll show you how to do that seam while doing the Mobius twist. Now mine, I didn't. I did mine with just the regular seam, so you wouldn't twist it if you wanted it to be a flat loop like I did. But if you want it to be a Mobius twist, this would be the other option that you have. Let's grab our yarn separate from there and make sure it's on the outside. And we'll start with a chain 1 just like we do on every row. And now we're going to work a slip stitch into the first chain of the starting chain and the first stitch of that last row we worked. And we'll slip stitch them both together. Then we'll insert our crochet hook into the next chain on the starting chain and into the next stitch on the last row worked and slip stitch together. You're slip stitching through both thicknesses. So we'll insert our crochet hook in the next chain and in the next stitch and pull through both together. So we're slip stitching both thicknesses together. Now we'll chain 5. And we're going to skip the chain 5 on the starting chain and skip the chain 5 on the last row worked. Insert our crochet hook into the next starting chain and into the next stitch and slip stitch through both together. We'll do that with the next chain and the next stitch. Insert into the next starting chain and into the next stitch and slip stitch them both together. Chain 5. Skip the next chain 5 space on the starting chain, skip the next chain 5 space on the last row, insert your crochet hook into the next starting chain and into the next stitch and slip stitch them both together. And you want to repeat this across the entire row. So you're really working in our established pattern, but with joining the two pieces together with slip stitches instead of single crochet through the back loop only in one stitch by itself. Okay, so we will fasten this off. And now when I lay that seam flat, you can see it actually mimics the stitch pattern very nicely. So it's very seamless. And then if you look at the front now, you can see we have that beautiful Mobius twist. Don't forget to download the free pattern on my website where you can get information on ordering Be So Serene Yarn Sampler Kit as well as Be So Serene Yarn in any of the hand-dyed colors. If you have any questions, by all means leave them for me in the comments, and please subscribe to my channel for more videos.